everybody, and thank you for being here for Building Bridges and Strengthening Communities. My name is Kelsi Curren. I'm sorry to introduce. I'm a proud alumni of Marywood University School of Social Work. It's an honor to share my experience that didn't just shape my career, it reshaped how I understood service, connection, and community. In 2017, I had the opportunity to travel to Kenya as part of Marywood Service Learning Trip through the African Sister Education Collaborative, ASEC. I chose to go because I felt a strong connection to the community-based work, which was very closely to my goals in social work. But I also knew that to truly understand people, you have to step outside your own environment and immerse yourself into the lived experience of others. While in Kenya, I worked alongside Sister Agnes. Through her work connected to the St. Francis Hospital HRD and AIDS program. What stood out to me the most, and immediately, was that her role wasn't about providing medical care. It was about something just as critical. She connected people to care, resources, and supports that they needed. Sister Agnes was deeply embedded into our community. She knew who needed help, what barriers they were facing, and how to navigate systems that can often feel overwhelming or out of reach. She served as a bridge between individuals and services, between need and access, between isolation or support. One of the most impactful parts of this experience was visiting the homes of individuals living with HIV and AIDS. This was a deeply personal moment. Being invited into someone's home, seeing their reality up close, and understanding the challenges they face beyond a diagnosis. What was becoming clear was how critical Sister Agnes' presence really was. Without her weekly visits, checking in, building relationships, many individuals would have struggled to access basic necessities such as water, food, medication, and other essential resources. Just as importantly, they would have been without any constant support, presence, or someone to listen to advocate, and to stand beside them during very difficult times. Sister Agnes supported individuals of all ages, genders, those who were bedridden, had limited mobility, or were in remission. She met each person where they were, adapting her support to their needs. What stood out the most was how she saw people. She didn't define anyone by their diagnosis. She saw individuals with dignity, their strength, and their humanity. She treated them with respect, compassion, which every person deserves. And what I saw over and over again on this trip was this: access is not always the problem, connection is. Resource is not always the problem, connection is. Resources may exist, but without someone to guide, advocate, and walk alongside individuals, these resources can remain out of reach. That's what Sister Agnes did so powerfully. She advocated for individuals who might not otherwise find a voice. She ensured that they were connected to appropriate medical care, education, community supports. She showed up consistently, not just as a helper, but as a trusted presence in their life. That experience shifted me. It really did. It really did shift me. It reinforced that meaningful work in social services isn't just about what we provide. It's about how we show up. It's about relationships. It's about the understanding the full context of someone's life and helping them navigate systems that were never designed to be easy. Today, as a social worker, I carry those lessons with me every day. Whether I'm working in a clinical setting or supporting individuals in the community, I'm reminded that the most impactful work often happens outside of traditional walls. It happens when we meet people where they're at. ASEC and programs like Marywood Service Learning Trips make that kind of understanding possible. They don't just educate, they transform. They prepare students to become professionals who are more aware, more passionate, and more effective in the work that they get to do moving forward. And for those of you here tonight as supporters, potential funders, your role is just as essential. You are not just supporting an experience, you are shaping the kind of professionals who will go on to serve communities in a meaningful and lasting way. You are helping to build bridges between people and the resources they need. and you are strengthening communities, both globally and right here at home. Thank you for being a part of that.
So first of all, I thank Sister Nancy for bringing me here. And Sister Nancy, I call her my mother. So mother, when mother says go, you can't say no. I got to know Sister Nancy and other sisters, which I'm sharing with you to let you know that as priests, we collaborate with the sisters in our mission. And my first time getting close to the nuns was when I was a deacon. And before then, I would just see them, oh, they are the nuns, they are the nuns. But when I became a deacon and I was assigned to a parish, we had nuns in the community. And one of them was studying. And she was doing nursing and midwife, and she had to write a project. But at that time, she didn't know how to type. She didn't have a computer, and she knew that I had a computer, and that I knew how to type. So she approached me and asked me whether I would be able to type her project for her. I said, of course I can do that. So after typing her project as a midwife, I said, now I can help deliver a baby. He said, no way, you can't do that. Theory is different from practice. And now I understand. So later on, when I heard how ASEC is helping the sisters with computers, and then computer skills, I said, wow, this sister missed that opportunity. But now through ASEC, a number of the sisters are able to get computer skills, and then they use them in different ways. If they are working in the office and they are accountants, they are able to use that computer to help in the records that they keep. So I have a special relationship with the sisters on another level. I worked as a financial administrator for my diocese, and as the financial administrator, I was given the responsibility to take care of a new congregation that the diocese started. And with that, I got very close to see what they need and the struggles they go through. And one of them is the education. For most of the sisters in Africa, we say we catch them young. So they come to the formation house just after high school. So most of them don't have any skills apart from high school. So when they go through the formation, then after their first profession, then they decide which profession in terms of skills they will have to get. And they will have to go to school. So they have to be taken care of by their own congregation, because by that time they have left their families. So it's the responsibility of the congregation or the diocese to take care of them. So this is where ASEC has been of great help to these young sisters. And I'm going to share with you a number of them who have benefited from this program. And in Ghana, over 1,000 sisters have benefited from the ASEC program. And some of them, this is Sister Judith, Gifty, Sir. She benefited from the program, and she's now the postulant mistress. And she also teaches catechism and then even conducts the choir for a local church. So apart from being the postulant mistress, she's helping the community in different ways with the skills that she has acquired from the support that ASEC gave her. the other sister, Sister Burns, she also shared her own story with me that now she's the headmistress for one of the schools, and she was just signing the record cards, and then she wanted to share this with us. This is Sister Paulina, and this is a special story about how the skills that they acquire, they are able to use it in different ways. Sister Paulina is now with a restaurant that the diocese has established. And she tells me she uses a scale to make sure the whole restaurant is clean, and then the creations, anything about the restaurant, she makes sure it's neat and presentable. Not only that, you saw the altar. Apart from helping in this area, she helps the churches that is around to decorate their altars. So it's not really the restaurant, but liturgically, she's also using the skills all through the support that ASEC gave her. These are just but a few that are using their skills to reach out and help the communities that they are serving. The support you give them is very, very important. Without those support, they wouldn't get to where they are, because the congregation is young. Most of them don't have the skills to work and then take care of the others. So through this support that they get, they are able to get the skills, and some are employed in government schools. And in Ghana, it's not like the states and then the church are separate. If you work for the state, you will be paid. So those who work for the Catholic schools that are government assisted, they get paid because now they qualify to get the salary of any teacher who has gone through a training college. So this is the story of the sisters. And as I said, my personal experience with them, it shows that they are really grateful for the work that you have done for them to acquire this knowledge. And we pray that you continue to support them. Know that what you give, it goes a long way to make a difference in the life of the sisters and the community that they serve. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'll respond to those questions.
So I've been with ASEC since just about the beginning. I was present at the meeting in 2004 when they brought sisters from 5 countries in Africa to talk to people from the 4 colleges and the 4 congregations to tell us what do they need, what are their conditions, and we can say to them, here's how we can help. The next year, I and Sister Lisa Oliveri from Chestnut Hill were sent to Africa. I went to West Africa, to Ghana, where I taught sisters from Ghana and Nigeria. And Sister Lisa went to Kenya, where she taught sisters from Kenya and Uganda. These were the first courses offered by ASEC, and in what would later be known as SLDI, which is the Sisters Leadership Development Initiative. The course I gave was given at the Ola Teachers College in Cape Coast, Ghana. Sisters of Our Lady of the Apostles, right? Now, ASEC had provided 24 computers from HP, their refurbished computers, to start the lab. And Sister Elizabeth, who was the headmistress of Ola Teachers College, had also acquired 12 other computers. And they were mixed together in the lab. So we had several different versions of Windows, several different versions of Microsoft Office. And yeah, I hear the groans. I saw it as an opportunity, really, because I think it was smart that she mixed them together. Because I could say to the sisters, Now here's how you do it on the Windows, whatever version it was that year. And look to the computer beside you and see how it's done there. I think that helped them to understand how things change in the computer world, and so they would be better suited when the next update came along, to go on another computer. Here's what I do. I write my speech and then I come and look at it. All right. Okay. All right. When I announced the agenda for the class, which is basic computer skills, email, using the internet, using Microsoft Office, there was a visible groan of disappointment in the class because many of the sisters had email addresses and many of them had used Word or something like that. But it only took one day for them to realize that I knew more than they knew, and that they would really gain something from me. Let me tell you about one of the students. The class was, as I said, 24 sisters from 2 countries, never met each other. That's another story. But Sister Natalia was probably one of the oldest members of the class. She came from a village where there was no electricity and obviously no internet, no computers, nothing. She was, I hardly guess the age, but she wore bifocals. And here she is, sitting at a computer, trying to figure out how to use a mouse. And so she'd be like this, with the screen, and then she'd look down at her computer to click it, and she'd move her hand and miss the thing. I looked at her and I said, oh my goodness, I don't want her to get discouraged. I'm going to try to make things easy for her. So I had planned at the end of each class, I would give the sisters 3 little exercises to do about what they have learned that day. And so I would give the 3 things and I'd say, just try to do 1 or 2. Don't make it easy. She'll, not feel overwhelmed trying to get 3 of these. She did every single one. Every single one. That's the kind of sisters that come to our courses. And I expect when in those early classes, I continue to teach for ASEC. We expected to meet people who had never used computers before and things like that. But even to today, as late as last summer when I taught the HESA course, there were probably 6 sisters in the course who had never touched a computer before this course. In that first class, I went there in August, if I remember correctly, and the temperatures were, they were 74, something like that. Well, that was the coldest part of the year. Somebody said to me at one point, sister, we are suffering in this cold. 74 degrees. Years later, one of the members of my class, her name is Sister Janet, she was in an international community. She contacted me from Brazil, where she was then stationed, to ask questions about computers and how to help people in Brazil to use them. So look at the reach. Okay. These days, I co-teach an orientation course in the HESA program. HESA is the Higher Education for Sisters in Africa program. The sisters that I teach are beginning their road to a degree for Marywood University, the Marywood University program. They will be getting degrees in education. I guess I'm going to step back because I missed something on my things. I taught 2 other courses in Africa. 3 years after the first one, I went to Kenya, to Nairobi, and I taught another basic technology course. And then 3 years later, I went to Kampala, Uganda, where I taught a course in web design. I was at the time the webmaster / director of web development at Marywood University. So anyway, since then I've gotten to teach in the HESA program. I teach from my living room, and the sisters that I teach are in Nairobi, in Kenya and Uganda. The person who got me involved in ASEC and was my co-teacher when we started the HESA course was Sister Margaret Gannon, who was very important in the beginning days and beyond in ASEC. She used to say, when we taught the course online to the sisters are in Nairobi, and I am in my Robi. Because we taught very early in the morning in order to teach the sisters in the afternoon in Africa. So that's what I'm doing. And my part of the course is to teach them the technology they need to use to take courses, first of all, online from Marywood University, and then to use the computer systems in the partner universities where they will finish up their degrees. And that is the Catholic University of Eastern Africa in Nairobi, and Kisumu University in Uganda is where they finish their courses. But after this course with me, they take 1 year of courses online for Marywood teachers. And by the way, my co-teacher is present here today, Dr. Mark Murray, right over there. He teaches them to write a simple research paper. And even though some of these sisters have had experience with computers before, most of them have never even been in a library before. And so we're teaching them to use a course management system to find out, to do their studies, to use the library databases to do research for Marywood University, which are similar to the ones they use at Kisumu and Koya. I have taught, well, this summer I will have my 14th cohort in the HESA program. So I figure that between the 3 times I went to Africa for SLDI and HESA, I've probably taught more than 300 sisters. I don't know the exact number, but that's... I'm going to give you an image. First, this is not an image of the sisters, but I got to bring it back to them. On that first trip, I was accompanied by 2 people. I was there for a month. For the first 2 weeks, Sister Fran Fasolka, another IHN sister, went with me. And then my own sister, Richard Burns, joined me for the final 2 weeks. One day we were walking in the neighborhood where we were staying. There were a bunch of little boys there, were maybe 3 or 4 years old. And one little boy ran up to my sister and touched her on the arm. And then he went back and he started rubbing all over his body. So, we went back and we said to the sisters, what does this mean? He was trying to get your luck and spread it over himself. Okay, the sisters that take part in these programs from the beginning and even today are like that little boy. They want to absorb as much as they can. They come eager to learn, conscientious about doing their work, completing their assignments, and extremely grateful for the opportunity that ASEC has given them. Okay. And we couldn't do it without all the people who help. I'm teaching, Dr. Mark is teaching, but besides that, we have the staff here at ASEC in the United States who are helping to coordinate everything. We have coordinators, program coordinators, and a regional coordinator who are supporting us. We have 2 technology people who meet with the sisters 2 weeks before the courses, my part of the course, our course actually starts, to give them their computers and teach them the basics to how to use them, so that we can pick up from the basic and teach them what they need to know. By the way, I teach them how to format a paper in APA style. We think about that. So, and we can't do it without all this help. Thank God for ASEC. I would like to say that I deeply treasure my association with ASEC. Excuse me. I know these courses have helped to change the lives of the sisters I've taught, and I know that helping to empower them touches the lives of all they minister to and with. I've seen sisters from different communities who did not know each other form connections that last beyond the classroom, and this is changing the face of religious life in Africa today. My trips to Africa have given me new eyes with which to read the world, and best of all, I have friends, sisters, all over the world. Thank you.